Two. Hello, everyone. Welcome to RSP podcast with me, Rajan Palmer, and I'm here with Shuo Hang, a photographer. Tell us about your background, man. Thank you for coming on.
Hi there. No, thank you for your time. I guess my background is I started sort of backpacking as usual graduates usually do, and that's when my passion for travel really came about. Really, when I backpacked Southeast Asia with three of my best friends, and then from then I just sort of blossomed into completing sort of travel milestones, as it were. First, it was to visit all the official New World Wonders, and then it was to tick off all the continents. And now, as it progresses, is to try and sort of visit every single country in the world. A lot of people are full-time travelers. I'm not. I have a full-time job, and I just travel during my vacation, and the annual leave that I get per year. So I'm not your typical sort of digital nomad, as it were.
But you're a photographer, right, as well? So is that something you do in your sort of part-time as well?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Side hustle.
Yeah, I just basically take photos whenever I travel, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we'll discuss the continents and then we'll go on to your later bucket list, because you sent me a picture which will be on your Instagram and the podcast's Instagram.
Yes.
You in a tuxedo in Antarctica. So tell us how do you even go about going to Antarctica? Because I was stalking your profile and
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I need to go. I need every detail I can get.
I mean, I was basically backpacking South America back in 2010, and I never really had much of a thought about Antarctica until then. Basically, I was going from Mexico City down to Ushuaia, which is in Argentina, right at the tip of South America, and that is the jump-off point to Antarctica expeditions. I didn't really know what was there. I just thought it was mainly just a lot of icebergs and glaciers, and so I never really gave it a passing thought until I read an extract on it on The Lonely Planet, which said that it was just a remarkable place, really. And so it got me thinking. That was 10 years ago, and obviously I had a look at the prices, and it is quite expensive. So on a backpacking budget, I couldn't really go.
Yeah. What price? Sorry to interrupt. What prices are we looking at here? Because I can imagine a good few thousand. Say, do it in pounds. So
I'd say about 9,000.
£9,000. And what did that include?
So that includes the flight over, so you don't have to get a 2-day return boat journey, which saves you 4 days potentially, and also expeditions. Also meals on board, a cabin, a shared cabin, mind you, with a window.
So sorry, did you say you flew to Antarctica, or did you fly to Argentina?
Yeah, we flew from mainland Chile to Antarctica, and then we flew back. So the other way, which is slightly cheaper, is to get the cruise directly from Ushuaia to the Antarctic Peninsula. And that is a 2-day, 48-hour trip one way.
One way, and then so I guess you pay both way tickets, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, get left there. And then what sort of price is that?
That's about 2,000 cheaper.
£2,000 cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay. So still, it's. I mean, I always said to my friends in school and stuff is that Antarctica is the place you go when you got a lot of money and you think, yeah, I'm gonna splash out here, go for an adventure.
I mean,
that's about it.
It is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
So it's and there's not many people that you can say that you've been to all 7 continents. So
yeah,
it is definitely. But it's not just about glaciers. It's not just about giant icebergs. It's the expanse of the place. It really is quite overwhelming at times to think that just how big that landmass is at the bottom of the earth, and how small you are and how insignificant you or your problems might be. But it's quite mind blowing. And obviously there's a whole plethora of wildlife like orcas, whales, penguins, seals. So it's you get to do a lot of wildlife spotting as well.
Did you get to see many orcas?
Yeah, we saw a pod of orcas from the cruise ship.
Oh wow! I mean, those are some animals I would love to see. That they're some of my favorite. They're so big. They're so they're so special. Like, there was some spotted off the coast of England last week.
Oh right. Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
think I saw
yeah,
it.
it's on the news. Yeah, there was a pod spotted off the coast of England, which would be I mean, if they started returning to English shores, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be
And so
amazing.
the sort of tuxedo idea I had was basically I thought it'd be quite funny to have wear a penguin suit as it were in the Antarctica. So I just packed a sort of a suit jacket, shirt, and a bow tie, and made sure I had black waterproof pants on, so I didn't have to change those. And then found a nice spot and took a photo, and that's how it was done, really.
So those aren't actual tux trousers; those are waterproof trousers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
They look pretty good, They
yeah.
look pretty well. And what is that? Hiking boots underneath?
Yeah, so you have to wear those boots. They're actually like wellies almost.
Yeah.
So you have to wear those just to make sure that you don't contaminate Antarctica. So you have to go through a lot of biosecurity to make sure that you don't carry any microbes off Antarctica or carry any microbes onto Antarctica. So it's quite interesting. So you need to keep everything clean, and all the dirt needs to come off. And
Oh wow, that is really really interesting actually. But so how much time do you actually spend on land and compared to on the boat?
yeah, so that's a good question. We were there for 8 days overall, and basically the itinerary is quite flexible because obviously it's all weather dependent. So there's loads of different landing sites, and the sort of tour leader will decide where to land and when. So there's only a maximum of I think 100 people on land at one time. So we chose quite a small cruise ship relatively, so just 200 guests on board. So 100 people will go on land first, whilst the other 100 will go on Zodiacs, which are those, the rubber dinghies that Navy SEALs drive.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the one with the sort of motor at the back. So you'd go on that and you take photos of icebergs or wildlife spot whilst sort of cruising around these Zodiacs, just away from the shore. Whilst then the other 100 people would, do sort of wildlife spotting on land and hiking on the land. So it varies day to day, but you will set foot on land at least once a day.
Mm. But you sleep on the cruise ships?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay, how's that?
Yeah, it's fine. It's a cabin. It's pretty small. There's not really much to do when you're off, when you're not doing your excursions. There's sort of, reading and lectures about wildlife and climate change. So you do have to keep yourself busy during the sort of downtime.
I can imagine it's quite a lonely place.
Yeah, it is very desolate. Yeah.
Yeah. But so you were 8 days there. You'd recommend it to everyone if you get the chance?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's if you're after a sort of, once in a lifetime adventure, I don't think it's for everyone. It's because, you do have to obviously, it's obviously it's very far at first. It's 14 hours, just gets chilly, and then you've got another you've got another 2 hours to Punta Arenas, and then another 2 hours flight down to Antarctica, and then that's only if you're getting a flight over the Drake Passage. But for those who get the boat, I mean, that's another 2 days on the boat there and then 2 days back, and you're not guaranteed it to be, quite a pleasurable cruise. A lot of people do tend to experience, 10-foot, 20-foot waves.
Yeah.
Which is pretty. Yeah, it's pretty harsh. I mean, on the first day, I had to take like tablets for motion sickness because we had to cross another passage, and it wasn't swaying that much, but you do need a bit of time to find your sea legs, as it were.
Yeah. I mean, I've been seasick before. It's no laughing matter. It's
no,
horrible.
no, it's not.
It's horrible. Yeah,
So,
I've been.
yeah.
It's no, it really isn't. Well, yeah, like I say, we'll continue on about the continent. So I'll just so I suppose I'll ask, how many countries have you been to? Sorry.
85 at the moment.
85, impressive. So I suppose we'll go continent to continent. I'll just ask you sort of your favorite country from one of the continents, the first one that springs to mind. So let's go with North America.
Yeah, North America.
We'll go that from like Alaska, Canada to say Panama.
Oh, right.
So including Central America. There's some noise in the background.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Let me just move away. Oh. Sorry, is there?
No worries. We're all stuck at home.
Yeah.
Just entertain yourself for a moment, listeners.
Yeah. Oh, you can re-answer that question if you like.
Oh, no, it's fine. So sorry, I can't remember which one it was now. I've lost my concentration. Oh, North America.
Oh, I think it was North America.
Favorite from North America.
I would probably say Guatemala was my favorite country in sort of if North and Central America, out of those two. It's why, just because it's slightly off the beaten track. It's got sort of Mayan culture, and there's ruins called Tikal, which looks pretty amazing. And it's quite a raw. It's not very touristy. It's not as touristy as, like, say, Mexico and Costa Rica. And there's jungles, and all the people are really friendly. It's very cheap to live there. Yeah, so I'd say that was my favorite country in North and Central America.
And I'm right in thinking that Guatemala's pretty safe, like crime-wise as well, isn't it? It doesn't have crime as of Mexico. Like, I know that some of the higher up narcos invest and like have their plantations in some regions. Yeah. But I think in general it's more safer crime-wise as well.
Yeah, it's mainly safer. Yeah, I think the capital city, Guatemala City, is a bit sketchy. But
it can be.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't sort of experience anything dodgy anyway.
Yeah, I was just asking you about one thing. Have you traveled in Mexico?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, so when I did sort of my South American trip, I started off in Mexico and then just traveled overland to Rio.
Yeah, to Rio in Brazil.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a long journey. It
is a long journey.
I mean, I haven't really had anyone on the podcast to talk about traveling in Mexico, but I mean, how did you feel safety-wise and crime there? When were you there? Sorry.
It was it was back in 2010, so it's 10 years ago, and I'm sure a lot has changed since then. But I mean, I have friends who've travelled there recently, and they've not had anything. They've not experienced anything bad. And it's fine. It's just parts of Mexico is where the sort of cartels are and stuff, which I've heard, like Juarez and think is
Juarez, Tijuana, like all the northern border are very.
Yeah, if you keep to the mainly, they call it the Gringo Trail. It's generally quite safe.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. The Gringo Trail, is that for people to look out for there?
Yeah, I mean, it's just everyone follows this specific route. So through Central and South America is because it's just, it's just dotted with the sort of tourist sites, and everyone just tends to, if you see one traveler, one destination, you get a few coaches, and then you see them later on in the same tourist destination. It's just, and then they just call it the Gringo Trail. Yeah.
I suppose that makes sense, like as well, like safety wise, because I suppose then the cartels know where to stay away from. Because if
Yeah,
they have the
exactly.
tourism industry, then there's serious trouble.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
I mean, I just go following it from what I hear, it might get a lot worse in the next few years, apparently.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It might. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, there's rumors of them being designated as terrorist groups, which would bring soldiers into Mexico.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Okay. Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to South America then. Which one springs to mind there? Your favorite or most happiest experiences there?
I mean, Chile is probably one of my favorite countries in the world, actually. So it would definitely be up there for my favorite country in South America because it's a very narrow country. So it actually has several different types of climates and therefore several different types of landscapes. So at the top, there's the Atacama Desert, and then you have Bariloche, which is more of a Lake District-y type place, and then you've got Patagonia, which is obviously glaciers and lots of mountainous regions because it's also the Andes cut across it. So it's a really varied country with lots of adventure travel. There's also Easter Island, which is part of Chile.
And
Um,
you've sent me a picture of this now, right?
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So explain how to get there and where it is for those who don't know, because
Yes,
it's a
Easter
little
Island.
trail.
Yes, it's a very small island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, um, and it's 4 hours flight from Santiago, the capital of Chile. Um, I mean, that's how far away it is. So far away from Chile, it's literally, it doesn't even look like it's part of Chile because you have to get a 4 hour flight to get there. And then the next sort of civilization, as it were, from um, Easter Island is Tahiti. So that's another 4 hours fly away. So you're literally smack bang in the middle of this like massive blue ocean, basically. Um, and it is quite, off the beaten track, and it's a quite unique place to be, seeing the Maui in its sort of original place.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm looking at your picture now, and I mean, for those listeners who still aren't sure where it is, I mean, if you recognize the famous tiki heads, the massive tiki heads that, I mean, I don't know what can I relate, the one out of Night in the Museum, a bit like
Yes,
that.
exactly that one.
Yeah, like those ones, they're quite famous. Can you give us the background on those, where they come from, if you know?
Yeah, they I think I'm just trying to recall now. It's quite a few years ago. It's 10
Yeah,
years ago when I went, but I don't think they knew why they were built.
if I can pull it up on the internet.
Yeah, I can't remember. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no. I can't. Yeah, I can't remember if they actually know why they're built or not. That is true. Um, Easter Island heads. Uh, who made the Easter Island heads? They were made. Um, they were moai built by the Rapa Nui, who were native to the island somewhere between the years of 1400 to 1650.
Hmm. Hmm.
So they're old
Yeah, they are
civilization
old.
which used to.
Yeah.
But what sort of the practicalities of traveling there? How do you get there? Where do you stay? How expensive is
So
it?
when I did it, you just paid, you just found an internal flight from Santiago to Easter Island, and then there, I think just I think I emailed beforehand on a guest house that I was wanting to stay at.
Mm.
It is really expensive to stay at that because it's in the middle of nowhere. I think I remember it being like £11 for a spaghetti bolognese, which sort of budget travelers, it wasn't
Yeah,
ideal. But I
yeah,
was just there for 3 or 4 nights, so literally it was one of these things that I really wanted to go to. And if I'd come back to England without going there, it would have just meant an 18-hour trip just to go to Easter Island. So
yeah.
including the flight to Chile. So that's why I made it a mission to go there and budgeted wisely on the way down in order to have the funds to get there. Um, now you have to fill out a permit before you travel there, so that they can control the quota. I think the tourist quotas before you even leave Santiago.
Oh, interesting. So they're trying to limit tourism there now.
Yeah.
Okay, because they're not very big islands, are they?
No, they're not. You could drive around it in, let's say, 2-3 hours, maybe. Yeah, about 2 hours. You could drive the whole diameter of the island.
Wow, I suppose it's small.
Mm.
All right, moving on, we'll go to Europe.
Europe, oh, this is difficult.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I've barely, I've been to a few major countries in Europe, but because it's on your doorstep, I always kind of think, oh, I'll just leave it till later.
Easily.
Yeah, but favorite country in Europe,
You can include
Norway,
you
I'd
want.
say.
Oh, Norway, good one.
Yeah,
Good one.
Norway, because there's plenty of winter activities in the winter. So you've got Northern Lights that you can see right at the top. So that's where I saw the Northern Lights, was in the Arctic Circle in north of Norway, in this small town called Tromsø, and we've got really friendly people. It's again, there's amazing landscapes, great for hiking, great for nature. They have amazing fjords, which is the sort of the river valleys that you can sail through. The only downside, it's very expensive, but most of Scandinavia is.
Yeah.
I'd say the other one would be Iceland for me as well, just because again it's it's just a stunning volcanic island with amazing sort of otherworldly landscapes. So both of them are up there for me.
Yeah, those are two. I haven't been to either of them. Those are two cool looking choices. I would really like to go to Iceland. You ever seem to have a theme you like quite wintry destinations?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really mind, to be honest, where I go, because I've got the equipment to manage it. But I wouldn't, I wouldn't choose to go to a cold place, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I suppose that both have their positives and their
Yes,
negatives.
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to Africa.
I've probably only been to about I'd say maybe about 10 countries in Africa out of like 50 something. But out of those 10, I'd say Namibia was my favorite.
Oh, I always hear good things about Namibia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people are extremely friendly, really welcoming, very hospitable. There's the landscapes are absolutely mind-blowing. Big sand dunes, open spaces. Deadvley is one of my favorite places, which is a dried up ancient lake with fossilized acacia trees dotted around. It's you probably would have seen photos of it. It's quite a well photographed place.
Yeah.
It's just really nice country to be in, and very relaxed, and you've got a mixture of budget and luxury travel as well.
Oh, that's always good. But yeah, I see like the pictures of where the desert meets the sea over in Namibia. It's amazing. It's like one of the most sparsely populated countries in the world, right? So what you're saying,
it is,
quite a lot of big open spaces. And wildlife as well. Did you do much safari or anything while you were out there?
No, they actually just run on the road, to be honest. So you have a lot of oryxes and warthogs and stuff like that, and they just run on the road. Yeah. So but I didn't do any wildlife spotting. It's less known for its safaris and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. And then so we'll go on. I suppose that Asia is quite a big continent, so we'll break it up into sort of the Middle East and the rest of Asia. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's fine. So, God, that's quite a difficult question. I think I've traveled Asia quite extensively. Middle East a bit as well.
List a couple if you want.
I'd say Middle East, definitely Jordan.
Yeah, good choice. Very good place?
Just obviously for Petra, and it's such a stunning place, and it really does bring to life Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
The Last Crusade. Again, really friendly people. The food is amazing. It's quite a reasonably priced place to travel. Very easy destination to get to from London. It's only about a 4-hour flight, and you can get there from EasyJet now. And there's not just Petra. There's other stuff like the Wadi Rum, which is where they filmed Mars with Matt Damon.
The Martian.
Yeah, Martian. That's right.
Yeah,
And
one of the friends I was staying with actually said they met Matt Damon. Apparently, he's a really nice guy.
That's amazing. And there's also Roman ruins, and there's the Dead Sea that you can visit as well on the Jordanian side. In Asia, I would say probably Japan, I'd say, just because it's there's so much to do in Japan. I mean, it's not just a city break. It's obviously temples, bamboo forests, but that is, the difference between, like, let's say Japan and let's say the other place I was going to mention was Myanmar.
Yeah.
One's more adventure travel, the other's more sort of, it's more of, you just get a train from city to city, right?
Yeah, and that's Japan, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they're different type of holidays.
Yeah, Asia's a very diverse continent.
Yeah, exactly. But I'd say definitely that both those countries were up there for me. Myanmar for its temples and a bit more off the beaten track. I was meant to go to Uzbekistan during Easter, but then that fell through because of COVID.
Well, that's a shame. Yeah, a shame. I was meant to be in Congo in Easter.
Oh wow! Oh,
yeah,
lovely.
Such a shame.
It is. It is what it is, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. You can't complain. Everybody.
No.
Right. But yeah. So sorry. Go on. Continue. Japan and Myanmar.
Yeah, I'd say those were definitely up there. And then I really enjoyed India. I mean, it's such a big place. So much to do. Definitely had a bit. Oh, and then how could I forget Bhutan? Yeah, I mean, there is so much.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about that. Let's get into that. Yeah, Bhutan. I think you actually sent me a picture of the Tiger Monastery.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Let's So I mean, this is again a very off the beaten track destination. Let's talk, because I know the visa costs, etc., are crazy.
I mean, what I'd say about the visa cost is it's $250 a day, but that includes everything. It includes your guide, includes all your food, includes your accommodation, it includes water as well, not alcohol. But so you're probably going to spend near that amount anyway.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it almost makes it like an all-inclusive holiday. So say if you go for 5 days, then you have to pay 5 times $250. But then you wouldn't have to spend anything else. You just bring money for souvenirs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense there. I suppose you kind of just prepay it all in one.
Exactly. Yeah. And the reason they do it is to stop backpackers from, just staying there for ages, and it's to promote sustainable travel. So I get that. So you do obviously get a very specific type of tourist when you're out there, mainly older ones.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But then also, you also get the average travelers as well, who are a bit more disposable income. But it's definitely a magical place to be. It's it's set in the Himalayas. It's a very spiritual place. With their prime religion being Buddhism, and it's a very untouched, unspoiled place because of how they've managed this sustainable tourism.
Yeah, I mean this is, by the looks of things, it's a very secret kingdom. The internet was given to them in 2000 as a millennial gift from their leader. They have this weird sort of well, not a weird reverence, but a reverence for their leader and their royal
Yes.
family.
Hmm.
They kind of yeah, it's and they what is it? They measure their success on average happiness instead of
Yes. Hmm.
GDP.
Yeah,
Interesting place.
it
Interesting place.
is. It is.
Happy there?
Yeah, very happy. The people are just very friendly. I still keep in touch with one of the tour guides actually, and on WhatsApp, and that just kind of indicative to
Yeah.
how friendly people are.
I just as well. I mean, I was just wondering, do you feel that there's any sort of like, does it feel like a restricted nation in a way? Do you feel like the people are restricted in some ways?
No, I don't think they're restricted. Everyone seems to be. There's no sort of dictatorship there. Um, I think people, yeah, people do seem content and happy. Um, I didn't see any sort of thing, big. I didn't see any sort of poverty out there either. Everyone's sort of mainly on the level playing field, not like sort of India and China where there's a big poverty gap.
Interesting. Oh, okay, interesting. Oh, that yeah. So so I suppose we'll finally go to the final continent, which is Australia or Oceania.
Oh yeah, sure. Let me think. I think I've only been to one country in Oceania.
Right.
Yeah, it's Fiji.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
A
interestingly,
bit,
yeah.
bit off the beaten track there.
Yeah,
Is
that
that
was
backpacker destination?
it's half and half. I'd say it's both caters for both luxury and budget travelers. But yeah, very really small island with a Polynesian culture. Um, it takes almost a day to get there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's about 24 hour flight to get there from London. It's an interesting place. I'd like to visit more of Oceania, like New Zealand, uh, when I can. But yeah, because they're quite easy places to travel, it hasn't been priority for me.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to head down there myself. I haven't been to that continent either, so yeah, I would like to go down there myself. Is there any other countries you feel which have honourable mention? Just looking at some of your pictures now. There's one of a waterfall. Where's that?
Oh, I think that's probably Zimbabwe, I think.
Zimbabwe.
But then there's a few waterfalls I've been to. So it could be one Iguazu Falls in Argentina, or Brazil, or it could have been Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe.
Okay, you haven't sent you just sent it to me, but it doesn't say in
Oh,
the,
it doesn't say. Okay.
yeah, it
I
didn't
think it
say.
was Zimbabwe then. I do remember sending me
Okay.
one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zimbabwe for Victoria Falls is a cool place. Um, oh God, there's so yeah, honorable mentions. I say Bolivia.
Bolivia,
Hmm.
a cool choice again. I hear again also really good.
Yeah, for the salt flats. Just the people in Bolivia are really friendly as well. Um, and it's a really cheap. It's so cheap in Bolivia.
Again,
Um,
also hear quite a safer alternative.
yes, exactly. It
Mm.
is. It's very safe in Bolivia and Colombia as well, which has a really
Yeah,
bad reputation for
yeah.
being.
Colombia's trying to break out of that reputation now.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, I would really love to head down to Colombia. Actually, I hear such good things over there.
yeah, Colombia is very some really good trekking there. Um, nice beaches. And again, the people are really friendly as well there.
Yeah. Actually, can I suppose actually ask you one question? On your way down from Mexico to Rio, how did you get through the Darien Gap in Panama? Did you fly over?
So from Panama you can get a boat to Cartagena in Colombia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can
Yeah.
go by boat. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say because I'm pretty sure no roads run through there, right?
No, I mean people do trek through though. There are tours that they'll lead you through, even though it's quite dangerous. But
But I mean, do they lead? I suppose, yeah. What do they take you to the very border with Colombia?
I don't know actually. But I met two travelers who went through it with a tour group, and they camped
Yeah.
through there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have heard tours going through there, but
Hmm.
I would like to go. But yeah, it's dangerous out there. It's
Yeah.
crazy. You get the
Yeah.
wildlife. There's Apparently there's drug traffickers hiding
Yes,
in
yes,
there
yes.
as well. Like, yeah, it sounds crazy down there, but yeah, it looks amazing. I think is that you need to get sort of a local guide from one of the local tribes or something to take you through.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, it is interesting. But sometimes, I mean, I think their relationship with the outside world is a bit fragile at times,
Yeah. Hmm.
as with many indigenous cultures. Did you feel that a lot against in South America?
No, not at all actually. I think most of them countries embrace it because a lot of tourists, are really curious
Mm-hmm.
about the indigenous culture, especially like Peru and Brazil and
Yeah.
places like that, Colombia as well. But yeah, it's quite interesting because they're all quite isolated, aren't they, and with their own
Yeah.
language and dialect.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So, any other honorable mentions?
I think that's it.
That's it. So, what's next? What's next for you once this has ended?
I'd like to sort of revitalize the Uzbekistan trip at some
Yeah.
point.
Was that just
Um,
Pakistan?
Uzbekistan.
Yeah, I mean, just that. Were you going to go into Kazakhstan or
Yeah,
Kyrgyzstan?
Kazakhstan, yeah, as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then on my list, probably Venezuela, Yemen, and North Pakistan.
Oh, interesting. Those are some interesting topics. So, how are you looking at trying to get over there?
Yemen, you can get on a very sort of specialized tour, which takes you to Socotra, which is an
Yeah,
island off the coast of
paradise
Yemen.
by the looks of
Yeah. Uh,
paradise.
Venezuela, I definitely recommend to go for a tour there.
Yeah.
Um, and then I've read one where you can literally climb the side of Angel Falls and just camp up there, like on one of those tethered beds.
That go into what in Venezuela?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Oh,
can spend a couple of nights climbing that and
yeah.
sleeping on the side of the waterfall, which sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that
And
does.
then the other one was North Pakistan. I mean that looks amazing up there. The
Is
sort of
this the
mountain.
Hunza Valley?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it really does, right? Really, yeah. Gilgit, the Hunza Valley.
Hmm.
Have you been to Pakistan before?
No, not at all. No.
Yeah, no, I would really like to as well. It looks so stunning over there. Apparently, people are so friendly as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and so, well, I guess that's it. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. No. Thank you for
No, no
no.
problem.
Thank you for letting me speak here.
No problem. Would you like to promote your photography?
Oh yeah. If you want to follow any travel specific photographs and uh, links to my blog, it's at Showtography, which is SHUO Tography, TOGRAPHY, on Instagram. That's it, really.
Oh, awesome. All right. Thank you, listeners. Please follow and subscribe. I'll catch you for the next episode.
Okay,
And
great. Thank you.
stop recording.